Folks, and guess what? We're live. It is Brian from Seacoast Beverage Lab, and this is the Seacoast Beverage Lab podcast, episode number 37 for June 10th? Yep, 2013, and very special guest in the house, and we're going to get to him in a second. We're going to do our very first podcast beer tasting in a minute. And again, I'm Brian from at Seacoast Bev Lab, and I'm drinking the Fireman's Brew blonde beer from Fireman's Brew. And there's a special reason for that, so we're going to get to that in a second. Carla, what up?
Hey, I've been doing a lot of beery things this past week, but hi, I'm Carla, also known online as the Beer Babe. I'm also drinking a blonde. I have a brunette in waiting, but that's a story for another time.
Awesome. And we got Michelle.
Michelle. It's Mike here, at Mo Meredith on Twitter. I am also drinking a blonde beer as well, sensing a trend.
Oh boy, here we go. Got Shiny Boy, Rosy Cheeks Jansen, they call him in the boxing arena.
I'm Sean Jansen from twobeerguys.com. I am actually drinking the brunette.
Excellent. So he might be out of order, but we'll have to figure that one out. And we'd like to announce to the arena of beer podcasting, Rob from Fireman's Brew. What's up, Rob?
How you guys doing today? Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
What do you? You're pouring a big mug there. What's in that?
This is going to be the delicious blonde. I'm going to go with the blonde. I'm starting out with the Pilsner right now. But
hey,
thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Awesome, nice. Awesome. So we're going to hop right into Fireman's Brew because you guys were gracious enough to send each one of us on the show 4 beers from you guys. And we want to kind of hop right into it. But would you mind telling us a little background about, where you guys out of in your story of Fireman's Brew?
Sure. My name is Rob. I'm the founder and chairman of Fireman's Brew. I'm a real working firefighter paramedic here in Los Angeles. And basically, this is honest to God real story. Me and another firefighter, Ed Walker, we're up on a hill on a real brush fire. And fire's burning over. It's getting late at night. We're tired. We're sitting up there. We're exhausted. And we were knocking rocks down on the firemen below us. So they told us, hey, sit down up on the hill where you're at and chill. So here we are sitting up there. We're super thirsty. We couldn't go down the hill. We couldn't go up. But we're sitting in a bunch of this grass, and we're like picking the grass and chewing on it. And we go, you know what we should do? We should brew our own beer. And so sitting up there, it's about midnight. We go, well, what are we going to call it? And I go, let's call it Fireman's Brew. And then we came up with the slogan sitting on that hill, Fireman's Brew, extinguish your thirst, ignite the party. So me and Ed walked down the hill, and if you guys go to the website at firemansbrew.com, you'll actually see a photo of us sitting at the fire truck, and we're holding up a Gatorade can. That's the actual photo when we came down to the bottom of the hill and cracked our first Gatorade, and we're drinking it, and we're going, Fireman's Brew, extinguish your thirst.
That's pretty good. Man, and I mean, now we know what really goes on with the firemen after they're putting out the blazes. They're using their noggins to make good ideas. Great ideas. But and where are you guys out of exactly?
We're based right here. I live in the San Fernando Valley, so if you guys are familiar in Southern California, it's in the city of Los Angeles. Here, like in the San Fernando Valley. You guys are from all over the United States, which is super exciting. Yep. But the good thing is we've expanded. I mean, we're in 10 states now, and next week I fly out to New York. We launch New York. So and we're already in New Jersey and Virginia, so that's pretty exciting.
Oh,
that's
very
awesome!
Cool. Congratulations.
My little brother in the FDNY will be all over this beer, so awesome. Happy to tell him that it's coming to New York for him.
And then I see from your website you donate some profits to the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation. That's pretty cool.
You know, part of that when we were sitting on the hill, we initially had the idea, well, what if we just did something for the firemen while we're brewing a good, delicious beer and give back? And so we were like, hey, what if for every beer we sell, we raise $1 and we give it back to the Burn Foundation for the firefighters? What we do now is we give back 5% of all of our profit goes to the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation. That helps firefighters all across the United States. It's not just here in Los Angeles and New York, where we have the infrastructure in place. This is for guys that are volunteer firefighters that are back there in Nebraska or Oklahoma or, with all the stuff that's going on back there, where they're volunteers. If they're killed in the line of duty, we just lost 4 guys in Houston just this week. So I don't know if you guys heard about that. But, I mean, we're giving back to something that we truly believe in. And the National Fallen Firefighters, just so you know, was created by Congress in 1992, and it's an official charity. It's not one of the things that you guys have probably seen, all the different charities that are, what you give to somebody and they give 1 cent on the dollar to where it goes. This was created by Congress, so it's legit.
That's excellent. And now, I mean, without further ado, because I see Carla and Mike, their mouths are kind of watering, so we might as well start pouring some beer and talking about this. Let's we'll start with the blonde, if you don't mind. And again, we both got a couple here. So how about how'd you guys come up with this idea, and tell us a little bit about the recipe and the beer itself?
Okay, so this is actually our original first beer that me and Ed ever brewed. I was a home brewer before, and I didn't even know how to start. So what I started doing after home brewing is I went to a place called Brew Bakers out here in Huntington Beach, and we could brew one keg at a time. And I was looking at a basic Pilsner that was super light. And just so you know, Fireman's Brew, we have 3 different beers. We have the Pilsner, the Red Ale, and the German Doppelbock. But this was the initial one. It's the lightest of our beers. It's 5% alcohol. We pair all of our beers. It goes great with chicken and with fish. We use it in recipes. I cook with it at the fire station. I don't know what, I mean, you guys have some questions about it, but it's delicious. So you guys just opened it up, right?
Just cracked it. I think Sean is in the middle of cracking it right now, but I mean, it's definitely super light. I can definitely see. I mean, especially last week it was 90 plus here in New England, so I can definitely see cracking this thing open for sure. And yeah, that's looking pretty good right there for the viewers. But what do you guys think?
It goes down so smooth. It's just.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just incredibly refreshing. Like, I can see why you guys, were trying to create a beer that'll, quench your thirst. I'm sure, being surrounded by fire is a good motivator.
We've been on for 7 minutes, and I'm already halfway. That's a good.
So, being firefighters first and obviously brewers second at this point, did this beer change at all from inception till it is now, or is it pretty much the same standard recipe?
It's the basic recipe, but it has changed, and the reason that it's changed is because of the I don't know if you guys have Ralph's that's back there, but when we had a major account that came in, which was 250 stores, and when that exploded overnight, I'm telling you, you can go from someone who's just brewing, a couple hundred barrels to all of a sudden a couple thousand barrels. You have to adjust for that. It's the way it is. It's part of the business that as you expand, especially going across the United States. This is the basic recipe, but it has been tweaked minorly, and I'm really, really proud of this beer and really happy with it. It's won a lot of awards, so I'm, it's dear to my heart.
It is tasty. And now, do you have like a special or a favorite recipe you like doing with this, like a beer can or I guess a beer chicken in this case? But
we just did a show last week on NBC. They had us in there, and we did. I took 2 firemen from the station. We came out. We did a beer can chicken. What we did was we took any kind of can. Obviously, we don't can, but we just took any kind of can, Coke can, whatever. You cut it off. You stick it up into the bottom of the chicken, right? After you've marinated it, you just put it up on the barbecue and let it sit there, and it was absolutely delicious. It goes really, really good with the chicken.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's extremely tasty, smooth. Especially, I mean, summer months. This thing's gonna be selling like hotcakes, I'm sure. Especially, I mean, hell, out west it's always summer, but yeah. I have I mean, you guys have a great product line, not just beers, but you also sell, is it coffee and soda as well? I mean, you got some good products for it's you guys put it as off-duty drinks, which is the beer, and then on-duty drinks, which is the coffee. I think that's a pretty cool little play on words there.
You know what? It was kind of a marketing thing because being a firefighter, I'm a peace officer. I go to work every day, and I'm really on a fire truck, and I'm really a paramedic, and we didn't want to get this stigma or whatever have you that, hey, we're just a bunch of firemen brewing beer and drinking beer at the station. Yeah. So we actually came up as a marketing idea. We're saying, look, we have on-duty drinks that we can drink on duty. We can make a good product, and we have off-duty drinks. So, hey, when you go home, drink a beer. But when you're on duty, we came up with a great coffee that we use an Arabica bean with. And then we also have 3 sodas. We have a root beer, a black cherry, and cream soda. And we market that to fire stations all across the United States. When people see that stuff, that gets them excited and this and that. They go to the website and then they're like, wait a minute, these guys got beer too. So it was kind of like a sideways in the door. Being a professional firefighter, we cannot have alcohol on premises at any of the fire stations. So we kind of snuck in the back door with coffee and soda, and we hope people get excited about it and they go to firemansbrew.com and then they'll see our products. I mean, as far as the official on-duty, off-duty. But my true love, I was brewing beer when I was in college. So, I mean, the first time that I ever brewed beer and did home brewing, I used one of the big, Sparklets bottle, and to keep it cold, I stuck it down in the swimming pool. That's the perfect place to put it to keep it nice and cold. And of course, I went for the smoke. I wanted it to be hoppy, and I want it to be strong alcohol. And I tell you, when I tasted my first batch, so anybody out there who's doing their very, very first batch, it took the skin off on the inside of my mouth.
Whoa, coming in hot.
Oh. It was pretty potent.
Yeah, so, I mean, you answered a question that I always forget to ask. So you had brewing experience prior to starting this. I mean, you've been doing it for a long time before Fireman's Brew?
Just, you know what, doing home brewing is a whole different ballgame, and I'm so into it. I mean, in the back of my head, we've gotten so big, and we're so happy with our success. But at the same time, like, I remember the days brewing in the garage, and brewing in the apartment. That was pretty cool times. Yeah. Brewing in the bathtub. But it's, the other thing I always have to warn people, if it's ever the first time, is, man, that stuff's dangerous, man. People start to get all crazy and start thinking they're gonna throw a bunch of yeast and stuff in there, and they have these massive explosions. They come home from work, and their whole bathroom is like...
Oh, yeah. Been there.
Been there, yeah.
been there. Oh, we have been there, Mike.
Bruce has been there.
You take one look left, and you look right, and then it just overflow. Thus, our Overflow IPA, which in stores...
We kept that in our secondary fermenter, like, in my closet, because it was the only cool dark place in my apartment. And I came home one day and it had bubbled over completely and was hitting the bottom of my shirts, and I was like, son of a bitch. Now it's claiming my clothes.
we got a question from Norm. So Norm Miller, Real Beer Nut on Twitter. He's actually without internet tonight, and this is his first episode in 36 that he can't make. So wah wah. But he's on Twitter, and he wants to know where's your beer actually brewed?
Right now, we're actually brewing in a place called Mendocino Brewing Company in Northern California.
All right.
And it's completely a capacity issue. Right now, we're delivering beer all the way across the United States to New York. The New York trucks are actually picking up tomorrow morning, which is super exciting. But it's already in right now in Virginia, Rhode Island, Chicago, Nebraska. I'm just trying to remember all the states. Illinois, Arizona, California, Nevada. So it's a capacity issue. You will grow to a point if you become successful and you have a good quality product where you have to take your recipe and go somewhere where you can brew in a bigger facility.
Yeah.
So even though we're down here and we still, two of the board of directors, we are full-time firemen. So we still live here in Los Angeles. We work in Los Angeles, but at the same time, we're growing day and night, trying to keep up with capacity. Success can be your biggest failure sometimes. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's it's interesting, and you said it, and Mike said it. You're a firefighter full time now. Do you have any plans to get your own little space? And if you do, that means you might need staff as well if you're going to be doing firefighting still full time.
Well, at this point, I mean, I have a dream.
Hey, okay, wait.
Don't we all?
Here we go.
Dream. My wife. I married a beautiful Hawaiian girl, and she's from Hawaii. And I just think, longboard, the beer that's out in Hawaii right now. Honestly, I want to go out there and I want to build my own brewery out in Hawaii on the island of Oahu, and that's my dream of what I want to do. And with the success of Fireman's Brew, I think that's going to happen. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And when you're saying expanding and getting to a bigger facility, that to have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, and there's nothing that would be cooler than waking up in the morning, being able to surf and go out and then be on an island and then go to the office and it was a massive brewery where you could just brew beer in Hawaii.
Yep.
So that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. That is the dream.
I don't know what you guys think.
At what point do we get pinched?
Yeah, right. Yeah. That is some dream. I mean, and big shout out to Longboard. I mean, some of their beers brewed right here in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. So always a good nod to them. But do you guys have any questions before we move on?
Just going back to your expansion to the States and whatnot. Are you seeing that you're on draft mostly or in package mostly, or is it 50-50?
You know what? It's an interesting question. It depends on your distributor. So as you grow, and it's up to the distributor what you do. But I was really surprised. I think the order, and I could talk about this openly. I don't know why I couldn't, but they just New York ordered their opening order was 90 kegs. So I think that means that they are going to be hitting. Our success in Chicago has been huge, and I think a lot of that is probably due to Chicago Fire, the show.
Oh, sure.
And then it's a big fire town. And the tilted kilts that are out there in Chicago are just blowing up. I mean, they're going through, I think it's something like 10 kegs a week. So it's doing really, really well inside the tilted kilts. I think that you're going to see that in New York, and I think they've kind of done their research and already know that, and that's why they're hitting the keg. I think that most distributors, when you first start a state, they start off with like ordering truckloads and ordering pallets, and they might be like, give me 3 or 4 pallets of each. But you're going into supermarkets, you're going into liquor stores, you're going in locally. And then they might say, hey, we'll get some kegs, but you got to get it out there. You have to have a presence, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have to be able to have people to try it in a bar. So, sending 90 kegs over to New York is extremely exciting. That means it's going to be a lot in bars.
Yeah, that's it.
New Yorkers know how to drink.
Yeah, you're not going to have any problem there because yeah.
And remember, this is just the initial order, so this is how it starts.
Awesome.
So I fly out there next week. I'm going to be there all week, and I'm going to be riding with different people. A good friend of mine works for FDNY, and I hooked up with him, like I was telling you guys earlier, on the Dodge Ram Challenge. He was my partner, and he works for FDNY, and his brother owns a bar. So they're going to have all 3 on tap at his bar, which is like super exciting, and we're going to hang out and hit it. He's going to come to all the distributor meetings with me, and he's going to be kind of like that face. He's my brother. His name's Rob too, and he's on the East Coast. So
that's awesome.
Just from a personal standpoint, can you keep me in the loop if you've got any events going on down there? Because my bro's in the FDNY too, and I'm sure he would bring tons of people too if you had a release party or something down there.
Yeah, and we will for sure. And that's being over there on the East Coast. If you go to, it doesn't matter where we are in the United States. If you go to firemansbrew.com, we have a calendar. Yeah, nice. We're going.
tossing the cap up for the people.
We're going to firemansbrew.com, and if you go to firemansbrew.com, you can actually look on the calendar and see the events that are coming up. Now, New York, remember, this is the first initial order. I'm flying out there to launch with the salesmen, with the distributors, so it's exciting, but
getting there. That's cool.
I'm trying. You know what we need? This is what we need. It would solve all of our problems. We need a 30-hour day, and we need like 40 days in a month.
I think that's a Mayan calendar.
I think we all want that. We don't want that.
Mike, you got something?
Yeah, I got something. So, like, you have such a cool concept. You created it, with your buddies, for your buddies, like that, and or I should probably say for your brothers, rather, like in this whole organization. How cool is it to go out in your local bar and see? I'm assuming that some of your product is on tap around you. Is it cool to just go out and like grab a beer with your buddies and be like, yeah, I created that?
Right. Well, you know what? We're in Staples Center now here in Los Angeles, and we're also in Dodger Stadium. And that can I cuss on this show?
Humble. Yeah, absolutely.
Parental advisory.
That's fucking cool to go to Dodger Stadium and be freaking hanging out and be like, dude, go Dodgers, and I'm drinking from my beers at Dodger Stadium. That's cool. Or go see the Kings. Whatever.
Or saw the Kings. Right?
Bruins.
Yeah.
Actually,
go see the Bruins beat the Kings.
We're not
Staples Center and be able to drink beer.
That's so cool. Oh,
that is really, really cool. And you know what? I try to, like, a lot of times I don't tell people who I am, but I'll see them drinking it, and I go, hey, is that good beer? What is it?
So, like,
you know
the
story behind that? And they'll be like, oh, yeah, that's his Fireman. He's out here in L.A. And he started. I'm like, really?
As you're wearing you're wearing that same shirt you're wearing. Like, hey,
I try not to be that guy. When I do promotions, I love to promote my product.
You hold
this up in a bar. Yeah, there you go. That's the original photo. That's right there. That's the original photo of me and Ed.
Sweet.
Me and Ed sitting on the hill.
Nice.
But when I go out, I like to, if I go to a bar that's serving my product, I like to listen to what people are saying about it, and if they don't know who I am, I don't want to blow the deal. I want to hear what they really think. I care about what people think about my product. Knowing that it's Fireman's Brew, people might say, hey, is this a novelty or is it cheesy? Anyone will buy something once, but they're not going to buy it a second time if it's not a good quality product.
Amen. True. Yep. Sean, you got something on your screen there. What are you holding up there?
I wanted to share a picture with you. You might not have seen this. One of our local breweries, Wachusett Brewing, has actually refurbished a 1980s fire truck. And on the side of it, where all those dials are, they've actually have put in taps.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. That's another dream of mine.
So, I find it hard to believe that your beer being sold at Dodgers and Kings is not dream enough. You got to go to Hawaii, and I mean, like, dream one hit, stage two.
The same thing with the fire truck. We've actually been looking into that, and we actually found a truck, and it's more time. Remember that the people that work for Fireman's Brew are real firemen, and the people that are even on the board of directors, we all have full-time jobs. So dude, I went back and worked at, the Pilot 911, and I was just saying that I wanted to go back to New York and drive a fire truck across the United States and stop at all the places that we're at and drink beer with the firemen all across the nation, headed back to New York. And now that we're going to be in New York, that might become a reality, that I'll be able to do that. It's time consuming to rebuild a fire truck, and might be a hobby for one person. But when you got a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, and you have a beer company, and you're on USAR, and you're a firefighter paramedic, it just all adds up.
You also have to find a fire truck. I'm pretty sure those aren't inexpensive, right?
They're actually super inexpensive.
Really?
Very cheap. They're very cheap. They're very expensive to fix.
Oh,
and here, the big thing is the pump. And the pump is what's expensive. And if we don't need the pump, we're putting kegs in the back, right? So I always thought it'd be cool to have like half the side, like educational for kids. We have like sandwich warmers, right? And you have the soda and the coffee all on one side, and then on the other side you've got it's all for the adults.
I mean that's an idea right there. We shouldn't even broadcast that live because people are going to steal that sweet idea.
I'm telling you right now, Rob. Across America.
I was up in Mammoth, and Coors has already thought of it. They've already done stuff like that. But I'm like, you know what? They're not real firemen.
Exactly.
You can play with the big boys just the same. Don't worry about that.
Right.
We're gonna hop into this because the blonde went down pretty easy. But
let me get my brunette.
Yeah, we're gonna move on to the brunette.
This is awesome.
As Mike grabs his, I'll show the bottle right there, and it's the brunette's actually a Doppelbock, right? Am I saying that?
Correct. It's a Doppelbock. Cool.
Yes. Now tell us a little bit about this one. It's actually higher octane, 8%.
It is, and to preface this, the gentleman on the right, I'm sorry, I apologize for not remembering your name, but has our recipe changed? This recipe is actually changed. So what we're brewing now is a German Doppelbock. It's 8% alcohol. It's delicious. It pairs very well. We like it as a dessert. You can drink this warm, and it's good, and it's actually our best-selling product. We sell more of this than any other beer because it goes down so smooth. It's got the different malts that are in it, and because of that, it's got the chocolate malt, so it gives you a real smooth chocolatey flavor. Now, my wife doesn't drink beer, but she's like, I'm not a beer fan. But when she does, she drinks the brunette. And it's just, she'll like, if I get a new batch in, she's like, oh, I want the brunette. Give me the brunette. Because it is so chocolatey, it does go down so smooth.
Yeah, there's a bit of sweetness. I'm like it's sweet but not super sweet, but it kind of I can see this being a good kind of gateway for those that are kind of scared about dark beer. I mean, it's pretty unintimidating.
Yeah. You hit the nail on the head. We consider ourselves with the beers that we brew are kind of transitional. People see it at first, and like we do a lot of beer festivals, and they go, "Ooh, it's so dark," and I go, "Well, hang on." Girls go, "Oh, no, I don't drink beer." I go, "Hang on, try this product right now. Try this and tell me that you don't like it." And so many women try it, and they just go, like, it's chocolatey. It's like smooth. It's delicious. I thought it was going to be dark and bitter.
Well, it's because we're all mistaken because at some point someone gives us Guinness and we all think that everything after that tastes like Guinness. This is amazing. Right. I love it. I am a big dark beer fan, but I really, really dig this beer. I wish this was in Maine all the time.
Or that brunettes are just really bitter, and that's what you're used to.
What are you saying? What?
Now, Sean, what's your thoughts on this brew?
I always try to educate people with the color of the beer, which you guys all obviously know, but I'm always telling them just because it's dark doesn't mean that it's strong and doesn't mean it's bitter. And I try to don't be scared by the color of the beer, and I try to tell people that.
And that's a huge point because we all have. I mean, here we have pretty decent palates and can handle the higher ABV stuff. But what a lot of people don't know is just that, and the Doppelbocks and the Schwartz beers of the world kind of get a little off play because of the darker barley wines and the imperial stouts and the very unapproachable styles that you can't just go, hey, let me try that because it'll just ruin your palate. But I mean, Sean, thoughts on the beer?
I like it.
Yep, loving it.
Loving it.
Good.
Remember, it's 8%.
Yep. Sean already finished 3 bottles. It's weird. I don't know.
we were doing a special with Barney's Beanery where we were selling on pitchers. They were doing like a $5 beer special on the pitchers. It just didn't work out at 8% because it was going down. At 8%, it's going down so smooth that everybody's drinking it and they're ordering another pitcher and ordering another pitcher. And you gotta drink safely. You know what? I always tell people, hey, drink the way firefighters fight fire, safely but aggressively. You can't tackle this thing and start drinking pictures of it and think you're going to handle it because you're not.
This show is loaded with quotes. I got to write that one down. That is awesome.
So are these both like traditionally lagered for the 4 to 6 weeks?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I have one.
Yeah, hit it.
Is there a specific reason why you decided to go with the blonde, brunette, and redheaded theme? Is there anything behind that? Like I've asked a similar question to 6 Point, regarding the title of one of their beers, and I kind of got like a blank stare, like you friggin' idiot. But I'm curious. I'm very curious as if there's.
You know what? Coming from a marketing standpoint, anybody who's brewing beer, like if you thought about, like you guys all brew, right? So you're saying to yourself, if I was going to do it myself and start to brew stuff and sell it, what am I going to do? What's my marketing strategy? From the very beginning, I was like, well, we wanted something that was going to be transitional, that wasn't going to knock people off the stocks. And I'm not saying that we're not going to do an IPA because that's something everyone's asking us to do right now.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that we wanted something that was going to be a smooth transition between it. So going with the Pilsner, going with the red ale that's got caramelized malt that's a little bit sweeter, and then jumping into a Doppelbock with chocolate malt, it just kind of, I think it captures all three people's palates. Mm-hmm. And I think everybody across the board would kind of say that they will, you guys haven't tried the red, but would say that they will like one of the three. I think it's just it was a marketing strategy, and with doing that, it's a no-brainer to say, well, if you're doing a Pilsner, an ale, and a dark, then it's blonde, brunette, redhead.
I think it's
more marketing, like how do we brew beer and bring that with marketing?
It's smart marketing. I mean, because you're not a brewery that makes all 8%. You're gonna have at least one beer that's approachable to anybody, which is good, and then that'll probably bring them to try all of your beers, and then goes off from there. But I'm going to ask you again because you said someone was asked you, IPA in the works?
We're thinking of something that's going to be like a Chiefs Reserve, some reserve stuff, and I'm thinking that right off the bat, everyone's asking for an IPA. Dude, Stone's double IPA, dude, I like that. The Dogfish 90. There's so many things that are out there right now, and there's so much stuff going on that I want to do.
California. I mean, like it's hard to stand out with an awesome IPA in California. I mean, you have so many awesome choices out there that, like, amen to you, for making this awesome lineup. But I'm not sure that's the next step that I would do, just because there's so much saturation out there.
So, Carla, what would you do?
Oh,
if you were me.
Oh boy.
That's a really good question.
That's a podcast first.
Yes.
That's a podcast.
The tables have just turned, folks.
Holy
shit.
You should make a black IPA, that way you cover all the colors of hair. Boom.
I would actually, if I were you, I would actually go stout next, but that's just me.
You really?
Because people on the West Coast don't know how to brew stouts, and if you can come out with a good one, you'd stand out immediately.
Quoting you on that right now on Twitter.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm writing this
Also,
down.
we start getting some hate mail.
Carla says stout.
AskTheBeerBabe@gmail.com. All the hate mail can go directly to me.
That's interesting. A stout, and that's no. I like the idea of what you're saying. I'm just don't you want to expand your portfolio, right? You
Yes.
want to be able to produce better beers. And do you think a stout would be too close to the Doppelbock?
It depends. If you ended up doing something really dry, it could kind of stand out enough. But it depends on your audience too.
Do something smoke flavored.
4.5%
if you had
ABV milk stout. Oat milk stout.
What'd you say?
I want to hear. What do you guys think? Let's hear.
So,
what do you?
John, I didn't hear what you just said. Will you repeat that?
4.5% oatmeal stout.
Dude, you know what's totally crazy? Because if you were to just ask me what would be the other one, I would have said an oatmeal stout.
Well, what about? I think did Mike just say?
Yeah, smoked porter.
Schwartz beer. I'm just saying.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, dude,
fire. Hey, brother.
There's
Fight
smoke,
fire.
there's fire, man.
Yeah. So I'm just,
you're thinking about it now. You're like, holy shit, this guy's a genius.
We have
well, so yeah, I mean, we have people in the chat room too. So we'll keep talking, but we have a chat room that has a couple. I think we got about how many got in the chat room right now? 6. Ask the chat room, Sean. See.
Yeah, there's 6 people. So there's comments on this topic.
Oh, yeah.
So the chat room says, brew what sells. If they're already asking you for IPAs and you're not making what people are asking for, maybe you really need to focus there. And I mean, there's a lot of IPAs out there, but everyone's a little bit different.
Well, I guess that becomes a supply and demand issue. That if they're asking for an IPA, and a lot of people ask for it, but then people ask for a lot of different things that.
It seems that in the West Coast at least, even the standard pale ale is hoppy enough for some of the East Coast IPAs. So it would seem that you want to kind of deviate from the norm here, and I think maybe a stout would be Carla's hit the nail on the head that there's a lot of IPAs out in the West Coast. If you go out different,
no one can brew stouts.
Yeah, if you hit the ball at a park with a stout or a smoked beer, got yourself a smoked lager even.
There was a rumor out there for a while that we're doing an oatmeal stout. We started getting all these emails. Like everybody was like, "Dude, you guys should be coming out with an oatmeal stout." So we've thought about it.
Yeah. Well, what was I gonna say? Yeah. So you got this one right here.
We have some questions. We have a couple brewing questions. If we can go back in time a little bit.
Real quick question.
Nope. Frozen.
Frozen.
Who's
The
frozen?
leader is frozen.
Brian,
pass on my
Oh, there he is.
Can you hear me? Good.
Am I here?
Ooh.
Yeah, we're all here. We're all back.
Okay.
Norm says, pass my compliments on about the brunette. So he's drinking it right now.
Tell Norm to get a computer that works.
He's wearing no pants, but I don't know why that's part of the tweet. But
he's riding one of those bicycles to make energy to power the lights in his house.
He's on 56K right now.
His Fox in a hamster wheel.
Right,
he's got the redhead now.
Now you're just bragging.
Yeah, now he's bragging.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, right. So while you're cracking that open, Sean's got a couple questions from the chat room.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have a chat room. They're actually watching it live as we go. There was a couple brewing questions. So they were curious about the time to actually make the beer. If it's 4 to 6 weeks that a lager typically takes, and if that's difficult as a contract brewer because you're taking up their space for a longer time than if you were brewing traditional ales.
It actually depends on your yeast, right? It depends on how long we're going to do it with the yeast. So we've worked out something that works out with Mendocino Brewing Company, that they're working with us because they believe in who we are and what we're doing. And so it is difficult. It is difficult to know that you're brewing a beer that's going to take longer in the tank, but we are right now, we're looking at 30 days at stuff, we can move stuff around a little bit quicker. But, I mean, we can, but we'd like to stick to the 4 to 6 weeks, for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Are there any ingredients that your part of California is known for that you can perhaps add to a beer? I'm brainstorming in the background to help you out here for a new beer. So is there anything that's
well, I know what Mendocino is known for, and I don't think you want to be affiliated with that.
What is it?
What's that? I'm
marijuana.
sorry?
Oh,
Mendocino.
marijuana.
Right, because no one's ever had a beer.
I don't want to be. What's a hop? Is it a hop? Marijuana?
Yeah, they were like,
There you go, weed beer.
That's true.
No, but
Be the
hop
first.
is in the same family as cannabis, isn't it?
They
It's
are.
the same thing.
Yeah, it's doing infusion.
You got
There you go.
So
we have enough infusions in Los Angeles.
the fire that burns is marijuana, and but no, I was looking on YouTube, trying to get some videos for the show notes page, and I think I found a doozy. And we talked about this before we started, but I think, and I know that you're the first guest we've had in 36 episodes that's been on Dr. Phil. Now, you can't leave the show without telling us about that weird dude.
Tell us about Dr. P.
Tell us about like what feel free to cut if you have to be censored and stuff. But what'd you do in Dr. Phil?
It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
it was pretty cool. They actually called Fireman's Brew and said, "Hey, we're looking for a firefighter. Dr. Phil got a bunch of stupid kids that did all this crazy stuff, and one of them jumps off a vending machine and like snaps his neck. Well, one of the kids, I guess, they take hairspray and then they like spray it all over them. And they light themselves on fire.
Oh, Jesus!
They wanted a firefighter to come on the show and talk about like fire safety, and at the same time, so the secretary or whoever she is from the production assistant from Dr. Phil calls and says, "We'd like you to do the show. We've seen some of your reels and stuff. Can you come on and talk about fire safety with this issue? And we want to take a full life-size dummy on the stage and light it on fire." And I'm like, well, that's fine, but you can't just do that, Go into fire safety mode, right? I'm like, well, you have to get permission from the studio, we can talk about it, but we won't be able to do it. But no, they go, it's Dr. Phil. You can do whatever you want. And we're gonna light this thing on. And the sure as shit, they wheeled a dummy out, like right there on the show, all saturated into hairspray, and we lit the thing on fire. And I talked about, okay, so this is what happens when your clothes catch on fire. You got hairspray all over it, right? And then the whole thing lit up, it's burning, and then they have me put it out, talk about fire safety and stuff like that. But
for those watching, for those watching the YouTube or listening in your car drive home, the second you get to your computer, go to sblpodcast.com, check out the video, and it's legit. And it's just a stupid dummy that just gets lit on fire. But and it does show the video too in the beginning where the kid just doing just stupid stuff. And
right.
I mean,
the kid doing the backflip off of the Coke machine, because the Coke machine's like what, like when you go to a vending machine,
yeah,
it's like 6 feet high. He just comes off the top of that thing and just eats it. That's pretty legit. But I will tell you this one thing about Dr. Phil. He did the whole show. It was shot in real time, and he did it all in one take. He didn't stutter. He didn't screw up. He didn't do anything, and that was more amazing. Like I found myself like watching this guy. Like, how does he talk like so smooth?
Yeah.
Like not that what he's saying is interesting. Like, how come he doesn't? Because you and I and everybody, we talk and we mess up and we make mistakes and we say well and this and that. He never does that. Damn. He's just like he's the guy.
Right. Now the real big question though is he a hugger? Did you get a Dr. Phil hug?
I don't know how much I could say on this thing about that, but the kids that were on that show, if you watch that episode, it was a great episode for me. I was there as fire safety and as a fireman, but the kids that were on that are derelicts. Like the kids that are on it are just doing all this crazy stuff, and they were actually pretty sassy with them and talking back to them, and I was just kind of like, wow, these, from an authoritative, I was just kind of like, you guys are being pretty rude to Dr. Phil.
You don't sass
backstage. It didn't work out that well. He wasn't too happy with the kids that were on the show. Like they come backstage, right, and then they want to take photos with him and stuff, and he was like, I don't want to take photos with these kids.
You just treated me like crap. Why would I want to do that?
If you see the episode, you'll understand that the kids are really just very disrespectful to authority, and they were disrespectful to him. And I think he put them in their place, or at least he tried to. But then I was like, well, wait a minute. I know they're disrespectful, but hey, it's Fireman's Brew over here.
You're just in the background like this. Like.
No, I got some fun. Can you guys see her? I'll go get a photo. I have a photo with him. Oh, you guys already have it.
Please do it. No, you got a photo of him. Go get it.
Come on.
We got time. We can banter all we want, and I can see you dousing.
You guys talk. I'll get my Dr. Phil.
Go ahead. I can see him dousing the dummy in his beer. And just,
he's like putting it out with a fire extinguisher, just drinking his beer.
And for anyone listening and not watching, we can see that he's actually left the chair and gone to a different room, and he's coming back. Nope, not back yet.
It's readily available.
There it is.
Here it is. This is. Wait, I gotta aim the camera. How do I do that? There we go.
Yeah. That's awesome.
This is me, my wife, and Dr. Phil backstage, and he was happy to take a photo with us, but he wasn't very happy to take it with. He wasn't very happy to take it with the kids that are on that show doing the stuff they were doing.
Yeah.
Now, are you really tall, or is Dr. Phil short?
I'm 6'7".
Oh,
Whoa.
That does not come off. 85 pounds. Hey,
so is Norm. It's a shame you guys aren't here to talk about how tall you are.
Jeez, and I thought the podcast added 10 inches. Good Lord. That sounded weird.
Whoa.
If you guys notice, like, how close you guys are, for me to fit, I have to be this far back. It just doesn't. It doesn't work.
So your computer. Yeah. Oh man. So Sean, you got a question to?
Yeah. Will you be attending any of the national events like the GABF or?
You know what? We had a board meeting last week, and we're talking about that right now. We've been doing a lot of beer festivals here in California because we can support them. It doesn't do us any good to be doing an event, out of state that we can't support. But we did really well in San Diego. We did the international the event down in San Diego, and our brunette got a gold, and the blonde got a silver. And so right now we're looking at what events can we do, and obviously Colorado is I have a dream.
Yeah, hey, someday.
So I'm gonna ask a question for Carla. She was wondering what month of the calendar were you?
On which calendar?
Oh.
Did you see the PETA one?
No.
Oh, you want to see it? You want to see a good photo?
Oh
You
boy.
Google the PETA calendar. There's a firefighter PETA calendar, and I have a little chocolate chihuahua, and I'm like holding it. It's really cool.
Damn it! You're giving me so much stuff for the show notes right now, and I gotta get all this stuff. Chocolate chihuahua. I gotta find it.
What year is it? 2013.
It was. I'm trying to think of who did. It wasn't. How about this? Okay, so right off of Sunset Boulevard, there's a place called the Rainbow. Have you guys ever heard of it?
No.
Oh.
The Rainbow, like all the big rock stars, like used to go there all the time. Motley Crue.
The Rainbow Room.
The Rainbow Room. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
course,
I walk in there, and I go in there to get pizza for the guys, and I come walking in, and the girl's like, "Oh yeah, here comes your pizza." She goes, "Oh, look at what month it is. It's November." And look who's up on the wall. And I look up, and there's me with this little freaking chihuahua. And the guys, the firemen, were just like, "Wah!" Dude, they ate it up. Guys they wouldn't even let it go. They were just taking photos and embarrassing me.
Oh man, that's madness. What do we got going on here? And any other final questions? Because Rob's had a long day. I mean, we
Can you tell?
No. Jeez, we can't. You've actually been our most
Animated? Fun
Animated?
Yeah.
That's just me.
experienced guest. Are very Phil. So that. But yeah, so you said you're available in 10 states, and
we are available in 10 states now.
Yep. So we the website for that is firemansbrew.com, and like I said, all the links are in the show notes. And you guys got a pretty good social media presence. You guys get yourself an Untapped account. You're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So you got all that stuff covered, which from social people like us major appreciate that. And I was checking out your store today, and if you wouldn't mind putting on that straw fireman's hat, I'm pretty sure if Norm was here,
look at that.
Look at that thing. I mean, that's just madness.
Here, let me get down low so I can see it.
Dude, I want one of those.
How awesome is that?
Legit.
Hey, look out.
The emblem would be great for a cask tap handle.
Ooh, a cask tap handle. Ooh.
Have you guys seen our tap handles? You know, our tap handles are like brass fire nozzles.
No way.
So it's this insignia, and then it comes down as the fire hose, and then it's all a brass tap. It really stands out at the bar. And I think in New York, when they start seeing those handles, I think the firefighter and police bars are good.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, Rob, can't thank you enough for sending us all five of us on the show here. The packs of beer and going through the tasting, because it's been a great experience, and I hope all the other breweries watching take note, because this is how a podcast is done with the brewer and some beer. But I want to raise a glass to you, Rob, and say thanks, and we really appreciate it, and we hope to have you back on again, because man, you've been a very, very awesome guest.
Well, thanks, Brian. Hey, and Carla, I'm going to think about that.
Yeah. All right, Rob. Well, thank you very much,
guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Cheers.
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 All right, brother.
Good. All right. So So that was Rob Nowaczyk from Fireman's Brew.
We're still live. That's the best part.
Yeah. So yeah, we were still live because we wanted to. We had some stuff to talk about because we didn't get a chance to hop into our week, and then we have we have a week ahead that we want to talk about that's ridiculously huge and you need to pay attention.
It's insane.
Carla's shaking her head because it's just madness. But what'd you do last week, Carla? Or in the past couple weeks, anything crazy related?
So I went to Smutty Nose Smutfest at Nowaczyk and had freaking 2004 barley wine from Smutty Nose. Amazing. They pulled out all the stops, brought everything possible they possibly could have. It was awesome. Ran into a whole bunch of people I knew. It was great. Just to have that much Smutty Nose kind of just being appreciated by people from Maine always really makes me happy and a lot of fun there. What was the other thing? Shoot. There were so many things that happened in the last 2 weeks because we didn't have a podcast last week that I was like, oh, I need to mention all these things. I came down to New Hampshire, actually. I went to Earth Eagle and Blue Lobster and Whim all in one day. It was awesome.
And you did it.
I was supposed to go to Throwback, but they were closed by the time I got there, but it's okay. I still love them.
Yep.
I went down to Watch City Brewing for a Pink Boot Society meeting.
How's that?
A little bit smaller than I expected, but Watch City was really awesome, so they were majorly accommodating. I managed to come back. I won the door prize of winning a bunch of Riverwalk Brewing pint glasses and taster glasses. So despite my vow to not bring back any more pint glasses,
just what we need, right? More of those.
Yeah, it's like I have so much glassware. But it was great, and they're gonna try to start kind of like a New England East chapter of Pink Boots. And for those who don't know, that's women in the brewing industry. So. The ladies from Craft Beer Cellar were there, and they're also getting really excited because they're about to open their second store, imminently. So I was really happy to hang out with them and then meet some new people, but it was a good time. So,
wicked cool.
Kind of been all over the place.
Geez, yeah, you've been all. Geez, I was out west last week. That's why we didn't have a show. I was in Arizona, Phoenix, and I haven't put a post up yet, but big shout out to. It's Beer Christine.
She's cool.
She gave me every place she listed. I tried to hit, and I hit probably about 6 of those places in my off time, and it was fantastic. Big shout out to Four Peaks, Santan Brewing, even the Whole Foods. That was some good. It was good hotel beer, but Phoenix is a pretty good place. It's 108 degrees all the time, but it's a dry heat. I was out there in my flannel shirt, no big deal, but. It was still hot, and then I ended up going to Whim again a couple days ago. They had a spent grain burger, which was awesome. But shout outs to them, and nothing else. Nothing much crazy happened. I debuted my dad's and mine's 4th batch of the Wedding Day Black IPA this past weekend. And Mike, did you get a chance to taste it yet, or are you still letting it cool off in the fridge?
Yeah, I'm still making my way through the 8 that I stole from your wedding, and I feel horrible every time I see your dad because I think he's actually pissed off at me for doing so.
He's drinking, and he's like, hey.
And it was a blizzard, and I took what I could carry.
Well, maybe right now he switched over to the town meeting rather than...
Hey now, hey, how dare you.
Burn.
Nice. Super burn, but nothing else. Mike or Sean, did you have anything going on last week that they wanted to preach?
No, I was out west like you were, but not that far west. I was in Western Mass, obviously, for to visit you on Saturday. Wasn't able to stop off on any in any of the locations that I love dearly out there, but I was able to check out a somewhat new establishment on the North Shore. It's the Barrel House in Beverly, Massachusetts.
Cool.
It's located on Cabot Street. I've been hearing good things about their tap list, so I decided to make my way over there with a friend last week, and I was able to try some Pretty Things Magnifico and on tap there. And cool establishment. Anybody looking to have dinner, grab a beer, check it out.
Awesome. And Sean, you're at ACBF, right?
I was. I need like 30 seconds.
All right, I'll give you 30 seconds. So... What, like I said, for the show notes for this episode, head on over to sblpodcast.com. I've also put a list of updated guests that are coming on, and I'll do a quick shout out. Sean's making some notes. We got a list of upcoming guests that if you like beer, I don't know why you're going to be missing these shows. So going down the list, we have today we had Rob from Fireman's Brew, and that'll be up tomorrow. And for those listening, it doesn't really matter. You're listening to it now. But Monday, 6/17, June 17th, Greg Cook is coming to Portsmouth, and he's doing a couple things, but most importantly, we'll be talking to him in the lounge of the Portsmouth Brewery for the podcast. So we're gonna get like about a half an hour with him. So we'll make sure to get send any questions you have with hashtag SBL podcast, and we'll get something going there. But big fan, big Greg coming in hot. So we'll see what goes on with that.
Big G.
Shout out. We also have then a couple weeks later, July 1st, we have Sam Calagione, Dogfish Head Brewery. You kidding me? Week after that,
Freaking pumped.
July 8th, Bill Herlicka, White Birch Brewing. Week after that, Carla locked in the ladies of Throwback Brewery, Annette Lee and Nicole Carrier. And then, you can read the rest of the schedule there, but we also locked in Night Shift Brewing. We've been talking about them a lot and have had many of their beers on the podcast. But today, Mike locked in his first guest.
Wow.
Announce him?
Yeah, Newburyport Brewing Company.
Hey-o.
August,
So with the success of the show, we've been able to lock in guests all the way through September. And if you have any ideas for guests, let us know, and we'll put them on there. But we really appreciate the suggestions and the time of the brewers to come on the show, because man, we have 10 guests coming up in the next 9 weeks. That's pretty ballsy.
I also want to say, Brian, I want to give a special shout out to Matt Forcier. He's a loyal listener of the SBL podcast, and he was able to hook things up with Newburyport Brewing Company. So I'm sure he's going to freak out when he hears his name on the podcast tomorrow.
That's so awesome!
Just drive up the road.
Right? Yeah, he's like, "What are you saying?" Yeah. So. Yeah.
Cheers, buddy. Appreciate the shout out and the suggestion and setting that up. And Sean, you look at your face right now. You're just studying.
Sorry
You're
about
that. Okay.
Oh, I have to give some shout outs here from the ACBF. It's kind of cool when you're walking around at a place, not wearing any logos, just normal, just out there, and people come up and say either I saw you on the podcast or I've been listening to the show. I really love it. So I wanted to give a shout out to this first picture here is James McCarthy.
Nice.
He's at Crew 20 or at Crew F24 is his Twitter handle. He's out there. Awesome. And then I wanted to hold on. Give a shout out to Scott and Rich. It's great. They're actually firefighters, and they listen to the show all the time.
Oh, really?
The Scott's in the white shirt there, and he's been listening since we started the podcast. Awesome. And they downloaded and listened to it, and their actually friend that's on the left, it was funny, he was listening to heavy metal walking around drinking beer at the ACBF.
And the guy in the middle just listen, step it, listen.
Exactly.
Get the stepping off here. Well,
and so they were their Twitter handle is at SuperDeckman.
Ah, nice. But you said you were incognito and people were coming up to you?
It was awesome.
That's weird. That's scary.
Yeah, that's like Norm caliber.
No, people know Norm, and it was funny. So I was watching the WWDC, and for those beer nerds that don't know what that is, it's the Apple conference that was today. And every time they pan over to Wozniak, I swear to God, it was Norm. If you look at Steve Wozniak, and I'm sure there's a 20, 30-year difference between those two, maybe 5-year difference. I'm not sure how.
Oh my God, it's so uncanny.
Look up a shot of today and then check that out. But what else you got, Sean? Anything that happened besides ACBF that you wanted to?
Went to the ACBF. I've been to Martha's Exchange recently. Went to WIM. Went to Earth Eagle. I went to a pretty cool. Sorry.
Don't
went
die.
To a pretty cool Founders Tap Takeover. That was They had 6 different Founders beers on draft along with KBS and bottles last week.
That's awesome.
Damn, very cool.
I heard there's a Firestone Walker one coming up in Portsmouth.
I mean, that comes up in the end of the podcast. Okay, hold on a second. Norm, did Norm join?
Norm!
Oh, it's Norm. Real beer, not on Twitter.
Yo, Reverend on Twitter. I've had every beer.
Look at that.
Can we get a side-by-side?
Even the top right picture. That's him, too.
Oh, it's like 100%. He's so pissed right now, too, because he can't friggin'
there's a shot.
himself.
Hey, speaking of Norm, here's a side-by-side. Norm Wozniak.
Bang.
Norm Wozniak.
Hey,
Amber.
Wondering.
Big shout out to Amber. She was brave enough to put an arm around Norm.
With crazy eyes.
Look at that.
Look
That's
at those
awesome.
eyes.
But he'll get a buy. He'll get a buy this week because he actually physically couldn't make it. But whoa, I'm seeing myself in thousands.
Wow, good job, Mike.
It's like a magic eye.
It's a magic eye.
But yes, so this Wednesday, for those that are watching, we're looking at June 12th. David Walker of Firestone Walker is going to be at the Gaslight at 5 o'clock doing they're just having I think 4 or 5 taps from Firestone. He's going to be there a little meet and greet style, so you can go there and they have 2012 Parabola, Union Jack, a couple other things. And I got a picture today of the actual keg of 2012 Parabola, so there's plenty of it to go around, folks. If you're a fan of Firestone Walker, get down there. But
I'm so jealous.
He seems like it's gonna be a good event, and it's good to have. I mean, geez, we're having David Walker this week, Greg Cook next week. I mean, it's like Portsmouth is getting hit with some brewers right now. And in fact, I think 2 weeks ago, the brewer of is it Uinta?
Yeah,
Uinta.
Steve.
He was up in it was Will Hamill, I think his name is, was up in or the owner was up in Great Lost Bear a couple weeks ago.
Oh, I did not know that. Yes, I did know that, and I couldn't go. But yes.
Same here. So I mean, it's actually like New England is just getting brewers coming in and saying, "What's going on?"
You know, the people are beginning to recognize that there's a lot of shit going on out here.
Finally. Now, does anyone have anything they want to give any events coming up or anything they want to shout out before we shut this bitch down?
Yeah, I want to get. Oh, sorry.
Ladies first. Sean. No, just Carl.
This weekend on Saturday, I think, I am going to Sebago Brewing Company always takes a bus full of people up to the main Brew and Blues Festival. Ooh. So basically they put you on a bus and give you an awesome amount of Sebago beer, and they drive you there, and they drive you back, and then it's like you get to hang out and listen to blues music all day. So last year I missed it because I was on travel, and this year I can actually do it, so I'm really kind of excited. I'm probably going to be tweeting like that whole day. But I'm expecting a lot of good music and a lot of good brews and to hang out with half the people from Sebago, so I'm pretty psyched about that.
I mean, send the hate mail to
hate mail, jealousy mail, whatever, you know. Yeah.
That's awesome. And then
on the West Coast too.
We haven't talked about this, so Sean. Okay, so we'll end it with a topic. So whoever has something to talk about, real quick, Sean, what do you got?
Well, so I was going to mention that this weekend is the Hyper Local Brew Fest at the Armory in Somerville, and I believe it's also Savor in New York. So anyone going to Savor, pretty jealous. And I want to say now, I apologize. I will not be at the podcast next weekend, next Monday, because I will be in Disney World.
Hey!
Oh my God! Are you kidding me?
But I'll tell you this. This guy's coming home a day early to make sure that he gets to the festival in Portland on Saturday, the day session.
You guys suck. Carly, you going to that too?
Absolutely.
You must be going to all 3 sessions.
No! My liver can't take that. Are you kidding me?
Amen.
No. I'm going to the Saturday earlier session. I just got an email asking me to volunteer for the Saturday afternoon session, so I might be working the Saturday afternoon session. I haven't decided yet.
Work it, girl.
Maybe.
Isn't that the same session?
No, there's 2 sessions. So there's one on Friday, there's one on Saturday early, one on Saturday late. I signed up for Saturday early as, like, that's what I bought the ticket for, and then they want me to work maybe Saturday late. But I am 50-50 because I might just want to walk the 5 feet back to my house and just pass out.
Baloney. Sure. You want to go over to, don't tell me that bar's name, next to the Asian place.
LFK?
LFK, big fan. Any bar near you.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And I would just like to remind everybody that
Yes.
New Hampshire Beer Week is the 22nd to the 29th.
Wow.
I'll be posting something. There is a beer dinner over at the district that I got notified about yesterday, so I'll be putting that up there. And
there's a bunch of pre-festival events up here too, so I'll keep you guys up on that next week.
Definitely, yeah, and that's the most important. So, like I said, next week won't be live. It'll be taped and put up. Hopefully, it might have to wait a week because this guy's moving. In fact, this is the last time you'll be seeing me in this place. So here's a little tour for you. There's the curtain and there's me. But that's all you're getting. But it'll be a bit because I'm
as
moving.
long as you still end up better lit than Jansen, then it's all
definitely.
good.
Oh, always better lit. But I do like the mood lighting that Mike's got going on tonight. Just
you like that?
Romantic.
No, but yeah, I'm
made my bed.
I'm saying goodbye. I'm saying bon voyage to Portsmouth in the middle of the week next week, and moving to Newfields, New Hampshire, and that's only 20 minutes away from here.
10 minutes to the left.
I'm just kind of relocating from city life and having more time to calm down. So I'll be live from there for the Sam podcast for sure. But I wanted to bring up this last topic, and Jesus Christ, I saw Carla posted on Facebook, and I can't stand it because it's just madness. But most of you know these Mio things, Mio for water. I'm a fan. I do the Soda Stream, and then I put a little Mio in it. So
it's little liquid concentrated flavoring, so make your water taste not like water.
And Carla said it right. Make your water taste, but check this noise out, and I hope we don't lose the broadcast because I'm sharing the screen. But check that out right there.
Wolf.
Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
All right, good. Well, this is the on tap liquid beer enhancer, and what it's supposed to do is make domestic beer taste like more expensive beer. And what one little tap does is it turns an 18-pack of 12-ounce beers into better beer. And they have an American ale enhancer and a pale ale enhancer. And all you do, just like a Mio, the picture shows there, squirt it into the glass.
Ugh.
I'm so sorry for even showing you guys this. I feel bad.
It's
what the fuck?
What bothers me about this is that, first of all, there's no way in hell that any of the ingredients in there are going to be anything that were ever born of nature. It's got to be fake whatever. Yep. And the implication that you can make something taste awesomely what bothers me the most is their marketing copy says that basically you can turn something into tasting like a craft beer. And I'm like, oh my God, no.
Do they not know what craft means?
However, a
Kraft
couple of us up here in Portland have ordered some because we have to try it to actually. I can't condemn it without giving it a taste. It's scary, but I'm gonna try it.
Definitely try it. I'm looking forward for the post because it says there's cost savings, and I mean, let's be honest. If you're really living, paycheck to paycheck, you still don't want to get this. Because, it's not cost savings. Buy better beer. Don't make shitty beer better. Buy better beer. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Right. So
don't worry, guys. I got
one example that they do put is that if you're stuck at a ball game and you have to order a $9, light beer, then put 2 drops in it and make it taste not quite as craptastic. But even so, the idea that you can take anything that a brewer has made that is to completion and then add this extra shit. I mean, with the exception of the Berliner Weiss, which is made to have those certain syrups in it, it's why would you take something that's finished and it's like putting ketchup on top of a filet mignon? It's just it's wrong.
It really sets off the flavor. That's
it's wrong.
The way I turn a Budweiser into a Berliner Weiss, just drop a Sour Patch Kid right in there, and just. You know what? So do that alongside your tests and take that to the bank.
Blindfolded, that might be option B right there.
And real quick, because I think I saw Beer Cellar somewhere mentioned on this chat, but but Beer Cellar is they still have tickets to the festival. I think they're selling.
My Beer Cellar, yes.
Yes.
The Beer Cellar up here still have tickets. There are still a limited number of tickets to the festival. You should grab them if you can. They will be gone really soon. And I really highly recommend this. I do not understand why it's not already sold out. There's so much amazing stuff coming. Like, just bite it and get it.
How's the venue where it's being held? I've never been.
The venue is interesting. Actually, I looked at it for a potential spot for my wedding, and it was too big.
Whoa.
There's it's basically down by the Portland waterfront, over back where like the ferries dock and stuff. But they have this big old like mill building. It's really quite cool and kind of funky in there. I haven't been any fests in there, but I have seen what they do for, kind of setting up other events. And it's right walkable to downtown. So if you're staying in a downtown hotel, piece of cake. If you're staying a little outside of downtown because it's cheaper, piece of cake taxi ride. And frankly, there's enough around that area so that even if you go to the fest and, want a little bit more afterwards, you walk, 2 blocks over to Infinity, 2 blocks up to Novare, around the corner to Thirsty Pig. And, there's just enough going on that it's totally worth the trip up, like, completely. I think it's a lot of people that would not otherwise be in the state. That should come up for this. What on earth is that?
Sorry. So,
oh God, Brian, I almost spit water all over my
mouth. I hate football, but apparently Tebow is.
Oh,
Tebow
Tebow
is on the Patriots. But nevertheless, sorry. But no, I was actually. It's a well belated. And we should have mentioned it episodes ago. But Chad Lothian, beer buddy Chad.
Yes.
His wife had a baby.
Congratulations!
A couple weeks ago, and I mean, look at this thing right here.
Mini Chada.
And I hope I'm not breaking any copyright rules by my baby on TV on the podcast.
Oh, it's so good.
So, congrats to him, and finally his wife gets to have beer because she big beer drinker as well. So, anyone else got any shout-outs before we shut it down?
I just got 2 shout-outs. If that's okay.
Nope. Mike, anything? No, what do you got, Sean? Yeah.
Oh, Mike, Princess first. Let's go, Mike.
Oh, boy. Oh, very funny. Not too much. I will be right beside Brian next week for the on-site with Big G. So, other than that.
So I think it might just be me. It'll be me, Mike, and Norm. But hey, Carla, listen. You couldn't come to location in Boston. No big deal. We'll go up to let's get Kai. We'll go up to Sebago.
Okay, right. See, here's, I love my day job. That's my problem. So.
Yeah, we all hate ours, so it's just no. But yeah, so you guys, if you guys are in Portsmouth, you can check out on Monday night. I did a post Monday the 17th. There's a beer dinner with Greg Cook, and it's already over capacity, but it hasn't sold out yet. They've limited to 50, but they keep going. So I think they have at least 65 people now at this beer dinner. So check it out. The links are in. I'll put it in the show notes, but it's on sequencebeveragelab.com. Beer dinner with the man. He's I'm gonna announce it because it's just gonna happen anyway. He's brewing a beer with Smutty Nose when he's here. No one really knows that, but it's happening. So you'll be seeing something coming in hot from that. Other than that, I think it was a good episode, guys. Great guest. I
still got 2 shout-outs.
What are your shout-outs, Sean? Go for it.
Sean, the shout-outs.
Yes.
That's no shout-outs.
I want to give a shout-out to
podcast. Oh, Sean.
I want to give a shout-out to Joe, who is at Craft Beer Coach. I actually met him at the ACBF, and I think he came in from Philly or New York. So he came from a little far away, and I want to give a shout-out to the K-Man 77.
K-Man. Kramer.
The K-Man.
Nice. Well, that's going to do it for episode number 37 of Secrets Beverage Lab podcast. Most importantly for those listening and who's made it to the end of the show, hour and 10 minutes, tell a friend because without listeners, like people coming up to Sean and Norm and Carla and Mike and myself, we wouldn't have a show. We'd just be talking to each other, and who wants to see that happen? But with all of your suggestions and comments and feedback, we've been making the show pretty cool, and we're 37 episodes in and still counting. So cheers to you guys, and we'll be seeing you in a couple weeks for another live episode of the podcast. So cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers.